like a freight train rolling through my town. Yeah, we were shaking and the walls were breaking down. I remember the sound like a freight train rolling through my town.
So you have an album that you just released, was it yesterday actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called, what, 1931?
Yeah.
And it's kind of based on New Zealand history. So start us off by giving us a little background on what that's all about.
So we didn't plan to do an album about 1931 or called 1931.
Just kind of happened.
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to write some stories and some songs about New Zealand, certain New Zealand events.
Right.
And the first one was the Napier earthquake that we really wanted to write a song about, which obviously happened in 1931.
Yep.
And we started picking other events, and then we realized that they, like a good amount of them, all happened in 1931.
Oh, really?
And,
That's a weird coincidence.
yeah, maybe it was the depression that caused all this.
Yeah,
or, I don't know.
Maybe. It's a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and so it made sense, and we sort of wanted it to have like an old feel and an old sound, and we definitely we lean that way just naturally when we play, and the instruments we like and what we listen to and stuff. And we liked the idea of maybe incorporating like some Art Deco stuff and expanding it a bit more than just the couple of songs that turned out to be about that time. Yeah.
So did you have to do quite a bit of research when you were writing these songs?
Yeah, the history songs.
Yeah,
the historical songs we like to do a bit of research about. In fact, the Napier one, about the earthquake, the chorus, I got the idea for the whole chorus from a line from a newspaper interview of someone who was like a newspaper at the time.
Right.
And someone had talked about it, and they had said in this interview, the earthquake, it sounded like a freight train. The earthquake sounded like a freight train. And I was like, that's such a good, it's such a good descriptive, because you don't often think about the sound of an earthquake. So that just really appealed to me, the idea that there was a sound attached to it that was so distinctive to the people that were part of it. And interestingly, when we were playing that song once at a performance, there was someone in the audience that was in the Christchurch earthquake. Right. And they told us afterwards that the Christchurch earthquake sounded like a 747 going overhead.
Interesting.
So, and I don't know if it's that different technological times you apply like a different technology to the sound, or whether it's I've read somewhere that earthquakes sound different depending on the type of earth, like the soil. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, the sound of it is something that I hadn't thought of, and I thought sound is something that triggers memories like long after the fact. Right. Like smells and stuff. So yeah, I thought that's a good place to start. So there was a lot of research and very fruitful research, yeah. And so other than finding out that everything happened in 1931, what else did you learn about New Zealand? What else did we learn?
Tunnels.
Another one was about Victoria Tunnel. Right, that's the opening track. The tunnel, I assume? Yeah.
I was only 17 and I was carrying his son, and I begged for mercy, but he beat me like a drum. Now I'm knocking on God's door. How long must I wait for? There ain't no light at the end of the tunnel for a girl like me. At the end of the tunnel for a
that was finished being built in 1931 as well.
Right.
And one of the things we learned was about the way that New Zealand sort of tried to combat the Depression. So a lot of the workers on projects like the tunnel, these big like national sort of works projects, they were people that were unemployed that the government hired to complete these projects through what is it, Ministry of Works at the time or something like that. So the sort of an almost like communal approach to stave off, because the Depression didn't seem to hit New Zealand until much later than it's like America, where they had the Dust Bowl and
right. But I think in the States, similar thing was tried. I think they called it the New Deal, and they were again employing people to build all this infrastructure to get
infrastructure with the dams and the bridges and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
So it was interesting to see that, I guess, reflected in New Zealand maybe 5 or so years later on a smaller scale, but with the same idea.
Right.
And I don't know how effective it is, but we have these, they still exist. Like we still have the Victoria Tunnel, everyone uses it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Little beeps as they go through it.
Yeah.
So this is your first album together as Butter Wouldn't Melt. Tell me, how did you guys come to this point of making this record? And, you know.
We actually met a very long time ago at the Auckland Folk Festival.
Right.
When we were teenagers, and that's when we first got to know each other, but we lived in different cities. And then a good 10 years later, we actually finally got together, and one of our songs actually is about that time, which is quite cool. Overdue.
I remember you standing in the spotlight. I can hear you rustle when you sway. How it felt to hold you for the first time. I remember you when you weren't so brave.
And did you guys have similar musical backgrounds before you met? Did you is that what kind of brought you together?
So we're both folky children. Our parents are folk musicians and brought us up in the folk music scene. I think I'd been going to the Auckland Folk Festival since I was about 2 weeks old, was my very first one.
Yes.
And we both performed with our parents when we were younger. So I did a lot of harmony stuff with my mum, and Nick's dad plays the double bass, and both of them are actually featured on the album as well, which is quite nice to tie that all back in.
I think we came by different genres. So her family was very...
like traditional Scottish folk,
a lot of traditional ballads and
a lot of a cappella harmony sort of stuff.
Gotcha.
And then yours was more like blues country.
Yeah, my dad was he played in a jug band and a blues band, like back in university days. He played mainly country and blues, and he was sort of part of the small wave in New Zealand at the time of people that were getting record. But it was almost all of their interest in blues and country at the time, he's told me, was based on radio and LPs that one or two of them would be able to import from the UK. No one came to tour here until much later. And, so it was a pretty small group at the time. And
one of the quite cool things though is there was a festival called Muller's Farm, which is before the Auckland Folk Festival, and there's an old record of some of the people who played on it, and both of our parents are on that record.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Still got it, and we play it on our record player.
Nice one. So your record, where did you record it at home? Did you go to the studio? What was it like making the record?
We recorded it at home.
Over lockdown.
Yep. There you go.
I invested a bit in just some gear. Again, did a bunch of research. There's a pattern there.
He likes researching things.
That's all right. Everybody's doing their own research these days, you know.
I invested in some gear. we did it at home. Originally we paid someone to mix it for us because there was a bit of it that I was kind of scared about. I'm comfortable with and very comfortable now, but at the time I was familiar and sort of comfortable with the tools, but like with the DAW and the plugins and whatnot, but I didn't trust myself really to be able to mix it.
Yep.
I had to say that we would record it, and if I mixed it, I'd just forever be like thinking, what if I gave it to someone who actually knows what they're doing?
I understand that. Yep.
So we did that, and we paid a bunch of money, and then we didn't like it, and we did it ourselves.
That's what I thought they were getting to that. Yeah.
No.
It was actually like, it seems like a waste of money.
No, it's a learning. It's a learning.
Yeah.
You just chalk it up to education.
It gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
To trust my ideas and and problem solve and just learn rather than rely on someone else's experiences.
Right.
And now we're designing our new house with a studio in it, so we can get it exactly how we want it.
Are you designing the house yourself as well?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Hope it turns out as good as the record.
I'm a landscape architect by trade, so I work at a urban design and planning firm. So
very cool. All right.
Yeah.
There's another video for One Last Lullaby. So do you guys make that as well, or?
Yeah, it's actually in our garden where we're building a new house.
There you go.
Pushing by, Lord knows I've tried to find that twinkle in your eyes. Don't you cry, won't tell you no lies. You've got one last lullaby.
Yeah, we wanted it to be really simple. We didn't have huge ambitions for our first music video. We wanted to keep it quite
huge
simple.
budget, really.
To convey the mood, I guess, of the sound of the song.
Gotcha.
Just to match those two things rather than bring in a new element like a narrative or
Yep.
So that was really cheap to do.
So we also learned a lot about video editing as well.
Oh yes, so very. Everybody's a video editor these days, so there you go.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought, and it turns out it's not as hard as it looks. Figured it out well enough, I think.
Very good.
I mean, people could, like, if I went to professionals, if I found the right mixer, the right video person, etc., I'm sure they could do a lot better.
Right.
But that's finding the right person is a whole other.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can do that when you have a big team around you, managers and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
One day.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of instrumentation's on the record? Obviously there's voice and guitar. I'm hearing, is it a recorder or a flute or what else? What am I hearing?
It's a tin whistle. It's a low tin whistle.
Yeah.
Who?
And there's
a tin whistle.
A tin whistle. Okay.
Yeah.
Like an Irish whistle. Yeah.
Yep.
So Nick plays guitar and then I play all these random things.
There's a dulcimer, a mountain dulcimer.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Double bass.
And Bowron's on there as well.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then just lots of harmonies. Yeah.
There was I noticed on the roots there, it sounded like maybe a banjo or mandolin or something. Was that in there? But I could be wrong.
That's my arch. That's my arch top capoed really high.
Oh, okay.
You get a lot of sound out of an old arch top. So it's pride and joy.
Mama, you should know I've been trying on your clothes. We've both seen better days. We've been lining up in rows, falling down like dominoes. We don't know no other way.
Did you spend a lot of time recording, or did it come fairly quickly and easily, or what was it like?
We spent a long time. When you're working full time, it's very hard to come in and out of the studio.
Right.
And so that can slow you down in terms of getting comfortable. But we spent a while. We recorded a lot quite quickly, and then listened to it and would judge it and decided, no, we need to be better.
Okay.
And sometimes it wasn't recording. Like maybe the recording was clean, it was all done well, but as a musician, like I just felt, I need to just get better.
Right.
It's not. I'm not putting down what I actually have in my head. I'm settling for my current skill level or whatever. So
gotcha.
I'd purposely try to. I was trying to get better as a musician at the same time as learning how to record, and learning how to know that the recording that you've got, the raw, is you're going to be able to mix it well, because that's a whole other thing as well.
Right.
It's all very well to say, these levels are all good and nothing's peaking and whatever, but there's also like the tonal characteristics of each instrument, and like whether there's too much of some frequency or another in the raw recording, and how that's going to affect how you can mix it. And I didn't know how to do that until, I didn't know how to recognize that until I knew which frequencies were going to be good or bad. And you don't learn that till you start mixing it. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, for hearing all this, you're possibly even thinking about the next record already, even though you just released this one yesterday.
Yeah.
Already written a few songs for it. You need to stop.
Yeah. I've already started thinking about how I might do things differently.
Right.
Yeah. I'd like to record a much more live. I'd like to try a much more live style, where like everything's.
Because that's what we're used to. That's growing up in the music scene. It was all about singing and performing live.
Yeah.
Yep. So
speaking of doing an album till now.
So speaking of live, what are you going to be doing? You're kicking off on this tour. You're going to be up here in the vicinity in a week or so. So tell me what folks can expect from the show.
We had our launch party last night, which
was that?
Great fun. Yeah, really, really good fun.
Yeah.
And we are going up to Raglan on Thursday, and then Navara Lounge Friday, and then Auckland we're playing at Move Space.
Right.
Saturday, yeah.
That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah.
That's Raglan. The first leg. It became quite a bitsy tour because we were booked to play at the Auckland Folk Festival, which was going to be part of our tour, but unfortunately because of COVID, a lot of the big festivals we got booked for.
Yep.
So we're coming home for a little bit, and then the following weekend we're heading up again, and we'll be doing Pyroa and Napier, and then coming back and doing Palmerston North and Taranaki.
Yeah, very cool. And you're doing mostly songs on the album, I assume. Are there any other kind of goodies that you perform, or what?
Depends.
If anyone wants an extra one, we occasionally throw in something else, or a new song that we're working on.
Covers and stuff, of course, but
it's quite nice to do a tour that we get to do all our own originals.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
If might throw a Gillian Welch number in or something.
Oh, that's always nice.
Maybe same from the next album.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
The idea of chucking one or two songs out that you haven't quite sorted yet, just to gauge the reaction and to show them that you're still working on things. That there's more to come.
There's more to come.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, I can't wait to see you guys when you're up here. Was it next weekend? So Move Space, that'll be fun. It's just down the street from here, so it's all good.
Perfect.
Yep. So excellent. Well, thank you for spending time talking to me. Glad you had a good time last night. Congratulations on the record.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye.